And now your Idaho real estate news.
Advertising is an important tool used in selling real estate. This is Mike Johnston, contributing editor for Idaho Real Estate News. This week, we will discuss advertising in real estate. When you get a listing, your sellers want to know what you are going to do to get them the most money for their property. The basic advertising an agent might do is to put a sign on the property, letting those who happen to drive by the property know that it is available. An information tube with paper flyers could be found. A QR code or website might be shown, providing additional information for potential buyers. An agent might take the yard sign form of advertising a step further with directional signs on busier streets that point to the location of the listed property. Real estate advertising has changed. No longer is placing an ad in the local newspaper or home magazine the only way to advertise. Home buyers searching for things a little bit differently, and we need to be helping them find what they are looking for. Social media. Social media is a great way to communicate with others, and it is an important way we can market properties for sale. Have you ever wanted to know if you could advertise another brokerage's listing on your social media in hopes of finding a buyer for the property? Can you advertise someone else's listing as your own in hopes of you finding a buyer for it? With any question, we must keep in mind that there are multiple entities involved with what we can and cannot do in any given situation. What might appear to be acceptable with one organization might find us in violation with another. With any real estate question that I am asked, I try to incorporate the requirements from the following: federal, state, and local laws, the Idaho Real Estate Commission and the Idaho Real Estate License Law and Rules, national, state, and local associations of realtors requirements and the Code of Ethics, multiple listing service requirements and rules, and my own belief system and values. First off, do not advertise unlisted property. If you have something that will be listed soon and you want to start talking about it, can you start promoting it, talking about it, advertising? That is a no. Do not advertise, promote something until you have it listed. Posting on social media that you will soon have a property available, but to let you know if you are interested, appears to be advertising unlisted property. Let us read Idaho Code 54-2083, advertising. Only licensees who are actively licensed in Idaho may be named by an Idaho broker in any type of advertising of Idaho real property, may advertise Idaho property in Idaho, or may have a sign placed on Idaho property. All advertising of listed property shall clearly and conspicuously contain the broker's business name. No advertising shall provide any information to the public or to prospective customers or clients that is misleading in nature. Information is misleading if, when taken as a whole, there is a distinct probability that such information will deceive the persons whom it is intended to influence. End quote. So that's the statute. That's the law. Many people ask for clarification of the law. So the Idaho Real Estate Commission has put out guidelines to assist all licensees to better understand the interpretation of the license law. Guideline number 13, which was revised in May of 2017, states, in regards to Idaho Code 54-2053, advertising. Now I'm going to first quote the guideline and then I'll make some comments on it. Quote, the restriction contained in point 1 means that when it comes to property located in Idaho, only the names of Idaho licensees may appear in an ad or sign, and unlicensed staff may not be named in advertising, end quote. So only licensed Idaho agents can advertise Idaho property on behalf of others. In the advertising, unlicensed staff may not be named in that advertising, so that cannot happen. But there are some legal ways to advertise unlicensed staff, but we will not be discussing that today. Continues on, quote, point 2 applies to advertising of listed property and requires the license name of the brokerage to be in the advertisement, including MLS, and a team name is not sufficient, end quote. Here it specifically states that, quote, a team name is not sufficient, end quote. Why specifically point that out? Well, many teams or groups advertise in misleading ways by giving the public the impression that they are a full-fledged and separate real estate company, when in fact they are part of or working with a legitimate real estate company. Quote, point 4, the prohibition against advertising that is misleading to the public is not as black and white in its application and requires some interpretation. Below is a list of situations the Commission considers misleading. This list is not intended to be all-inclusive, but notes the most common violations seen. The actual license name of the brokerage is misleading. While point 2 already requires a license name in ads for listed property, point 4 applies to all advertising and includes cards, automobiles, billboards, radio, MLS data and flyers, television, websites, printed ads, online ads, ads that direct consumers to a website, and every other form of advertising in existence. If the license name of the brokerage is not in the ad, then the ad is misleading. Advertising a subdivision as having homes starting at a low price, when in fact no homes ever were or no longer are available at that price. An abbreviation is used in place of the licensed brokerage name. A company logo is used in place of the licensed brokerage name. Placing the name of the brokerage in an advertisement, but doing so in a way that it is not obvious to a consumer. Some examples are in order here. 1, the brokerage name in a brochure or newspaper ad is so small that a magnifying glass is required to read it. 2, the brokerage name on a sign cannot be easily read at the posted speed limit. 3, posting a team name prominently while concealing the actual name of the brokerage, perhaps using gray lettering on a gray background that requires a search to reveal the brokerage, end quote. So that's more from the guideline. When advertising is intentionally trying to deceive the public, that is definitely bad. Each licensee is associated with the brokerage, and they should be proud to be part of that brokerage. Continuing on, quote, likewise, an individual licensee must also conduct business in the name on the license. A licensee must be licensed in his or her legal name and can also include a nickname on the license, such as Butch for the legal name Clement Leroy, or Kathy for the legal name Kathleen, end quote. My name is Michael James Johnston. Sometimes I go by Mike. To be compliant, I have my name on my Idaho real estate license as Michael James Mike Johnston, so I can advertise myself under Mike Johnston. Guideline number 12, adopted in June of 2013, added clarification to internet and social media advertising. Quote, all internet-related advertising of listed property or brokerage services that consumers can view or experience as a separate unit, for example, email messages or web pages, must include the broker's licensed business name, end quote. Again, the basics of all advertising is to have the complete broker's licensed business name on everything. It continues, quote, on websites, every viewable page should include the broker's licensed business name. On social media, such formats should include the broker's licensed business name at the beginning or end of each message. The broker's licensed business name should be prominently displayed and be no more than one click away from the viewable page. Text messages. The broker's licensed business name is not necessary in this format if the licensee provided the information via another format or medium, e.g., email or letter, prior to providing or offering to provide brokerage services requiring a license. Chat. Disclosure of the broker's licensed business name prior to providing or offering to provide brokerage services must be made during the chat session or in text visible on the same web page that contains the chat session, end quote. So how about apparel? Hats, coats, t-shirts, or when I buy a directional or even an open house sign. When you have a custom imprint or embroidery done on an item, and you customize it with your team, group, or personal name, and you did not include your full broker's license business name, I would say you are in violation of the law. Why? If you can and do customize a product, you must first customize it with the full broker's license business name before making any other modifications or additions to the product. With that understanding, if you customize an open house sign by adding your team or group name on it and not your broker's license business name, I would also say you are not compliant. Why? First, make any customizations with the company name before your team, group, or personal name. What if you are part of a franchise and they have some stock apparel or stock signs? I would say that you're okay unless you change, modify, or add to it. Your first change would need to be the brokerage business name before your team, group, or personal name is added. Think of it this way. If you're going to make a change to it, the sign, hat, t-shirt, jacket, whatever, the first change should be that of adding your brokerage's licensed business name, and then add any other things you would like. Can I place a sold sign when the property is pending? Meaning, can I place a sold sign on another brokerage's listing before it is closed? Most MLSs have the rule that, quote, only the for sale sign of the listing broker may be placed on a property, end quote. Snake River Regional MLS Rules and Regulations, Section 4.1, for sale signs. And, quote, prior to closing, only the sold sign of the listing broker may be placed on a property unless the listing broker authorizes the cooperating, selling broker to post such a sign, end quote. Snake River Regional MLS Rules and Regulations, Sections 4.2, sold signs. So the answer would be yes, as long as the listing broker and the seller, in my opinion, would permit it. This would also apply to any other advertising that you would want to do. Get permission from all parties before you advertise anything, and I would get it in writing. When in doubt, reach out to your broker and ask them for assistance with all of your advertising questions. This has been another segment of Idaho Real Estate News. If you found this article useful, please share it with others. Subscribe by adding us to your Alexa Flash briefing or by sending us an email to johnston@micro.com. That's Johnston, JOHNSTON @MYKRO.com. We have a website with all of our past topics that have been discussed. Visit the website IREN.news for more information. There you can also submit topics you would like us to cover. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights on forms and other real estate topics. For Idaho Real Estate News, I'm Mike Johnston.
Idaho Real Estate News is updated weekly.